whole uncomfortable thing, I think, is mostly with adults. It's also with older kids, but it's mostly with adults. If you're teaching these younger kids that they can do something, it just becomes second nature.
They're just like, okay.
It's like, oh, cool, I can
I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll come to the event next week and I need to make $100 for something. I'll come. Like,
and it's a nothing. It's so easy.
It's natural.
They're open to the abundance of it because they don't have the limiting beliefs.
100%.
That grown-ups have told them, no, you can't. No, you should be careful.
Yeah.
No, you should do this. Now, I mean, to your point earlier, though, there's a time where a hard no is a hard no.
Yes.
Like when individuals come to you and they're not aligned with your business and the way that they speak. To me, we have 5 core values in Obsidian Thorn. Mm-hmm. One of them is alignment and one of them is clarity. If we are not aligned, it's one of the 5. It doesn't matter. It's a hard stop.
And is that so? To go to that, and this is, I guess, somewhere when, again, I've said no.
Yeah.
But it still lingers in the back of my head, like, oh my God, that was a really good, that was a really good deal that I could have closed, with this school or with this district or, with whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But we were not aligned. We did not see that kids should be able to accomplish everything. So do you ever go in and say, you know what, I can change them, kind of like type of thing, or no?
So there's a reason, I think, though, you said no for. Because, because you said no because you said yes to something else.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the right alignment or it wasn't, whatever reason it is, but you're saying yes to something that is good for you.
Right.
So
it's hard. It's definitely hard.
It's hard because you never know where it's going to go.
Right.
You never know where it's going to lead. You said no to a path that you don't know where it's going to end.
Right.
But you have to be true to yourself. You have to have, in order for you to succeed, you have to be ethical about it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So going back to the 5 core values that we have, when I started Obsidian Thorn, I had 2 other partners.
Okay.
And wonderful. And I'm still friends with them. They're my mentors. But as we got into the business, we realized we were not aligned. I need to be able to go sleep at night and not have this gut thing of like, I have to keep this away from this person and this away from that person. No. So for me, ethically, I want to grow and not have any limits for this growth, right? And even one of the 5 core values that we have that doesn't work for one or another, that's a hard stop for me.
Yeah.
Those are the ones where I say, okay, I'm not budging on this, because I have to be true to myself, true to my vision, true to the company, and that in order for me to grow in this crazy, unreasonable amount, we need to be aligned all the way through. Transparency has to be a thing, and you and I talk about that.
Yeah, transparency is a big deal.
It's an absolute big
We're going to find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
We're going to find out, and
you
it's
got
not
to
going
be
to
true
be fun.
to yourself,
yeah.
And you got to be ethical about the business and the growth in order for you to grow. Otherwise, people will see that. People that you bring in will see that. And so how you present yourself and what your standards are, that's the same kind of people, caliber of people that you are going to attract in this abundance of growth.
Yeah, so, I agree. I just think that sometimes starting businesses, it's difficult. But yeah, for sure, to know when to say no, to know when to say yes. I do like to see myself as a yes person, though. And like you were saying before, I used to be a makeup artist when I was actually in high school. My parents really supported me. I wasn't big on college, and they're like, cool, that's fine. I worked with some major celebrities, music videos, fun things. But to that, there was a lot of me saying yes to productions. Oh, you'll just get pictures, or oh, you'll just build your portfolio. And so I agreed to that.
Yeah, you're in the beginning. You had nothing to lose, maybe just a little bit of sleep, but you didn't have kids. Yeah. You didn't have things to pay for, like maybe
that's
just like a car, but not a house. So it'll be a lot easier to say yes because you had a lot less to lose.
I guess my question is, do you guys see yourself more of, and not in a negative way, is it more of a yes? And even if you don't know what it is, you'll figure it out. This is something that one of my teachers actually at makeup school told me. They're like, listen, if you're going to land a job and it's amazing, you just don't know how to do that special effects technique, or say yes, and you'll figure it out. So what about that? Like if you're aligned with everything, you're on the same page, you've no idea how you're going to do it. Do you say yes, or do you say no, or do you think about it?
I always say yes.
Yeah.
I always say yes because I feel like it's that being scared and uncomfortable place where you're like, oh, I'm not sure. I haven't done it before. This is a big thing. I always say yes because I feel like it's like my biggest growth.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the bigger you
Aligned with
grow, the bigger that leap you take, the next one is going to be even bigger.
Right.
And
for sure.
once you start saying no because you're scared or you're uncomfortable, then you start to train yourself to say no to everything because you let that fear take over you.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to be scared. It's good to be scared. If there's a lion in front of you, you want to be scared.
Right.
But you have to ask yourself, what am I scared of?
Right.
Am I not good enough? Then you say yes because you want to prove yourself that you are good enough. It's the only way to get your confidence.
Absolutely.
And you have to be confident, especially having your own business. You have to be confident. And there's nothing, it's more like not confident of what it is you're going to do, of who you are. If you know you're a person that you're going to get this done, you're a person that you're good with timelines, you're very resourceful, you know what to do, then say a yes, you know? I'm all for that.
Yeah.
It's
Unless it
also
takes too much energy out of you.
Yeah.
And like you're too anxiety and you're not sure you need. So sometimes it might be a no, but I'll definitely say a yes. I really believe in that. It opens more doors, more
Absolutely,
networks, you know, and more growth. And that's what we want to do.
And
We
it's
wanna grow.
actually a skill to be able to say yes all the time. If you think about it as a strategy, they're like, all I want to do is say yes. Let's say your team has all these ideas and they suck, right? But you want to say yes.
Yeah.
So you have to strategize and to encourage your team to continue to bring you those ideas, you know, so you didn't start asking questions like, how do we make that work? You know, that's an interesting idea. How do we make
That's an
that work?
interesting idea.
Right?
It's also different for you because when you're a part of a group, you're saying yes or you're saying no as a group.
Right.
You're also relying on them to
Right.
pull forward, you know,
Right.
to pull. And when we have our own business, like it's just us, like
Yeah.
we're our own bosses, like not our own bosses, sorry. Like we don't have a team behind. So it's a different kind of, you know, it's like we take on ourselves what we can do. You have to think about what the others can pull through.
Right, absolutely. And that's actually a really, really important like skill to have, is to be able to say yes. But because that's how you start duplicating,
Yeah.
right? Because if you say no to your team all the time, they're gonna stop giving you ideas and the
Right.
growth is gonna plateau and
Right.
you're even gonna shrink.
Right.
You know, but they come up with ideas and you figure out a way how to make that work by asking the meaningful questions, you know, to your team. And then all of a sudden it's a yes. You turned it into a yes because of how you guide that, you know, those conversations.
Yeah.
So that's an actual like skill, strategic, you know, thing to be able to say yes all the time.
To break certain barriers, I think is really good too. Just, you know, if you're used to saying no and you're kind of this uncomfortable situation, to all of a sudden start saying yes is really difficult. Like if you're going into, like what you were saying, you're going into a company and, you know, you're there to fix the issues that they're having, and they're used to saying no because they're just like not, they love the people that they work with, but they don't really like the ideas. A lot of bosses, I think, have that. A lot of CEOs are like, well, I have people working, but I do everything anyway type of thing. So they don't, you know, that I think is really difficult. Going back to teaching kids to say yes more often is really, really important, because once you get older, if you're used to saying no, it's really hard to break that.
Right.
That like,
And it might not be saying no specifically for the right reason, like right now, something that you've done before in the past.
yeah,
You know, and this is why it's important to change that no to a yes. So then they learn. I have to share something really funny that happened this weekend. So we were away at Legoland this weekend with our whole family finally.
Good.
And my daughter is afraid of roller coasters.
Oh, wow.
And everybody went on this roller coaster and she had a tantrum. She didn't want to go on. She's like, no, 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 no. It had a really deep fall in the beginning. So she didn't want to. She was really afraid of it. And I said, come on, just try. You know, you don't have to do it again. Just try it. She's like, no, no, no. She had a hard no. I had to respect that no.
of course.
You know, that's another thing. Like you have to respect when they say no or when they say yes. You also have to, because just because they're little doesn't mean that they don't know what they want. You know, they do know what they want. And if she's afraid, okay, it's a no. I'll let her change that no to a yes my own way.
Yeah.
So I went on and I took her friend with me. And she sat next to me, and then I know it got her a little bit jealous.
Yeah.
Like, why is she going on instead of, you know, me going with my mom? She's really attached to me. And then we got off, and like she was hugging me, the girl. She's like, oh my God, it was so much fun. And then I saw her face. She's like, okay, I want to try it. And then guess what? She did it. She did it, and she did it again, and she did it again.
I love
And
it.
I showed her how proud of you of yourself.
Yeah.
How proud of you. She's like, are you proud of me? I'm like, yes, I'm proud of you. But are you proud of yourself
Yeah.
that you were scared and you still did it?
Yeah.
And you actually wanted to go again and again. When we say no and it's for our own good, it's good. But when we know that like it's gonna like take over us and kind of like not destroy, but like kind of like stop us from growing and exploring new things, then you should go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally
really
that.
big that you let her make that decision because like
You have to
that's
respect
not something
them.
you have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they slowly won't respect you.
Or not only that, listen to themselves.
yeah.
If she's like, no, I don't want to go, and like, you're going right now, or else, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then she's gonna do something that in her heart she was not ready for, or she didn't want to do. And at the same time, we want to teach our kids to listen to them,
Right.
listen to their intuition. So when they get older and they have their own business, and someone says you have to do it, you're like, no,
Yeah.
no, because
Yeah.
listen, for me, it's so much easier to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
To crazy projects, to crazy rides or whatever. It's easier for me to say yes than a no.
Right. And no usually comes with an explanation, especially as an adult.
Right.
People won't take no very lightly. Especially if you were working with powerful people. It's like, wait, how come, why no? What do you mean no? You feel it, or you feel like you need to give it. You don't have to give an explanation. Certain people will ask for the explanation. You can be like, it's just a no, and I don't have to give you another explanation. For me, it like will sit here for a really long time, and I feel like I have to give that explanation. It's a no because, like there's a reason for it. But I think having these conversations with the kids at a young age where they feel comfortable and they are making the decision, they just feel so much, their ego goes up. They feel so much more powerful. They have more respect for you,
But I feel like it's so easy for us to say no to our kids.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, work, then it's a lot harder to say no because we're thinking, oh, we're going to lose like this account or, like this it can open doors for us. But I feel like there is something about, and I'm still working on it myself.
Yeah.
It's something new because you want to take on more because you want to grow more, and you don't want, you don't know, like if you say yes to this person, he might bring another client on,
Right.
So at the same time, I'm learning to say no, and I feel it's it feels very empowering. I don't owe you an explanation.
Yeah. It just
You say clear, like it's clear. You have to say it respectfully and kindly, not like fuck off. No, like you have to say it like nicely and firm. Firm.
Right.
I cannot do this right now, or whatever. I feel like it also respects the other person.
Well, absolutely. And I think a lot of when it comes to clients, right? I mean, there's instances where it's just like, okay, it's not a fit, and you have to fire clients because it's a no, we're not aligned, and it goes back into that, ethicalness of things and whether or not you can even help them grow. Because with what we do, if your mindset is not there, if your cup is full already with how you think things are supposed to go,
Right.
I can't help you. So that's a no for us.
Yeah.
But if you can empty your cup and we can go about this like as a brand new, adventure together, I can take you to the next level.
Like if you're open-minded.
If you're completely
and you
open-minded.
trust.
Oh,
And you
yes.
trust.
There has to be trust.
Yeah, trust, and like they feel like a lot of clients have to control everything.
Right.
And once they control everything, they're doing it their way. But so far, your way hasn't worked.
Right.
There's a reason why you brought me on, correct?
Right.
So trust the process.
Trust, and that's a good point that you had mentioned control. A lot of clients say, oh, if I bring you on, then I'm not going to have control. To the contrary, you will have more control because now the process helps you control. And so now you can step back into the business and breathe.
Yeah.
And now you can work on the business and take even more control because now you're not controlling the little, micro things that you don't need to bother yourself
That
with.
are exhausting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Time,
As a business
it
owner,
drains
those
your
little
time.
things are so exhausting. So if
It
there's
really
something
is.
that can organize it and you don't have to say
Absolutely.
all the little no's, you
Right.
could just be like, I I did want to just ask one thing, because I had this at one of the schools that I went to, where one of the faculty came up to me and kind of said to me, please don't add anything else to my plate. So like without saying no to me in front of everybody else, he just said, like, it's a yes if it has nothing to do with me. It's a no if I have to do anything.
Right.
And I think about it often. It was a while ago when this happened. I want all of this stuff, right? I want to say yes to everything. I have goals, huge goals. I have huge goals for my family, for my kids, for my businesses. When is it enough, I guess? Like, when do you say no because you're just like tapped out, can't, we were talking about the uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
I like that. It's exciting. I don't necessarily know if I want that all the time, because it's just a lot, so I don't know. For me, I'm very confused with that. I don't know when enough will be enough.
Well, I feel like
question.
I'm still figuring things out, because we're always growing. And when you're growing, like, it actually is very exciting. And actually it's an adrenaline, and actually it makes you addicted. You want more of it. Right. But there's so much we can do.
Yeah.
There's only so much we can do. We cannot multiply ourselves. Right. I personally feel like I cannot multiply myself.
I think my goal is to always say yes also, and being active, having things to do that are impactful to the growth is really, really important for me. But I am also very mindful of when I say yes to certain things, because I want to make sure that if I yes to something, I'm committed.
Yeah.
So can I do more? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can do, I split my calendar 15-minute increments. You know how I can get done in each 15 minutes?
Yeah.
So I can say yes to a whole lot more, but
you're also in a different place than us.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
If our kids were older and they were out of the house, married, college, whatever it is, imagine how much time you would have on your hands. Less laundry, less cooking.
Less laundry is key. Less laundry is key. Sorry.
It's a good. I think for me anyway, that's one thing I'm not confused about at all. If the question is always, will it help my growth, my company's growth, my family's, growth, then the answer is always going to be yes. And I just got to figure out how to put that into my calendar, right?
Okay.
And make it so that the commitments that I do provide, I can deliver on, because that's the one thing I'm big on, is I deliver on my commitments always.
So that's what I was saying, like the delivery part. If you feel like saying yes to whatever project it is, it's going to affect other stuff that you do,
right?
Then I think that's a no.
Yeah.
If it will affect, your
delivery,
other commitments, your other commitments.
Yeah, that I agree with too.
The quality and the time. Yeah.
Of course. I've said plenty of no's. I didn't like them, and I don't like to admit it, but I do dwell on them sometimes, like, maybe I shouldn't have said no. Maybe I shouldn't have said no. Well, we could have figured it out. But I've said plenty of no's for those specific reasons. Most of the time it's because of those reasons, because I'm tapped out. And you need to have the time for your family, for your husband, for your kids, for whatever. So I agree. I just think, long term, I think it's consistent. I think just life is consistent yes and no's, and figuring out where to place them.
The powerful yes and the powerful no's.
Yes.
Love it.
All right.
All right.
Lots to think about still.
Let's do some tequila shots.
Let's go.